A bright and beautiful morning to you from the city of Abuja, and welcome to the Advent Cable Network Nigeria. This is another exciting edition of Now Streaming, your morning talk show, where we address burning issues, celebrate good news, and discuss topics that have the potential to change our lives. I am your host, Smart Simon, and I have with me this morning in the studio Mr. OBINNA ODUCHE. He is a political analyst, and also is Mr. HABILA KAYIT, National Coordinator, United Christian Youth in Politics and Governance. You're welcome, sirs.
Thank you very much.
Viewers will be discussing the trending news for this morning, Tuesday, the 30th of November, 2021. Do remember to call in with your comments and questions through the number showing on your screen and via our social media platforms. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. And our first story this morning is cattle rustlers behind attack on Jos Correctional Center. And this is coming from the official. The head of the facility, Correctional Center Jos, Samuel Aguda, has stated that suspected cattle rustlers from Barkin-Ladi, local government area of the state, were behind the attack on the facility on Sunday. Let me start with Comrade HABILA. What are your thoughts on this trending news?
Good morning, viewers. It is quite a very disturbing and unfortunate development that our correctional centers have been attacked severally by armed men. In this particular case, Unbandit. Like I said, it's quite a very unfortunate thing. At this point, we are not supposed to, there are no cattle in the correctional centers. So, and when you look at the location where the correctional center is situated, we have the police command around there, the DSS2, State Security Services office. So it's within the city center, and one should expect that this kind of news should not be anywhere close to where our law enforcement agencies are having their presence there.
All right, thank you so much. Yes, Mr. OBINNA.
It is not the first time this kind of thing is happening in the country. There's a lot of jailbreaks, bandits, or whatever they call them, coming to...
I think they are now terrorists.
Okay, terrorists. They just come into any correctional center and set them free. It happened in Edo, it happened in Oyo, it happened in Imo State. So, and all these correctional service centers, they are situated in strategic places where you have maybe police headquarters, DSS headquarters, just like this Jos, the police and the DSS are there. So, for them to even be very quick, because the problem we have in the country is that they will be very quick in telling us who carried out the attack, but they will not be very quick in arresting those people. Example, very surprised that the news of cattle rustlers being behind the attack just came out immediately. When did they investigated this? Have they properly investigated to know actually the people that did the attack? It's not just maybe if there's a particular sect or a particular terrorist group that you feel that they might carry out such. You need to have proper investigation. It's too quick and too early to come out with this. Now, since they have come out with this, that cattle rustlers are behind the attack, I will hope that they will be very quick in arresting the cattle rustlers so that we see them. The most important thing is that the people that's supposed to do their job are not doing their job. The security men are not doing their job, because this attack, according to news, lasted for about 1 hour. At a point, we had an information, an unconfirmed report, that the bandits or the terrorists were trapped inside the prison yard. because of the superior firing powers from the combined team of the DSS, the army, and the police. But at the end of the day, this morning or last night, we started hearing another thing, that hundreds of people from the correctional center were set free. They got about 7 dead bodies. So where are those ones that were trapped inside the correctional center? These are 1 million questions that need to be answered. And we need to get it right, because if this continues, it shows that we don't have security, and Nigeria is becoming a failed state where anything goes.
In fact, we have another angle to that story. That will take us to the next trending news, talking about prison breaks, jaws, and 5 other times. Nigerian prison authorities sold lies to citizens. The jailbreak that took place at Jos Correctional Center in Plateau State on Sunday, November 28, was the 5th of such incident in the last 2 years, raising a question as to how secure Nigerian prisons really are. Whenever these jailbreaks occur, hundreds of inmates are freed and let loose into the larger society. And though the authorities of the Nigerian Correctional Service will blow hot and vow to recapture all the inmates, success have often eluded them. So, to confirm what you're saying, if you can continue with your with your thoughts.
It's simple. It's becoming a tale. It's becoming a story. Then, you know, when I was growing up as a young boy, my grandmother will always bring us together and tell us stories. That is, the olden days stories. And when you listen to those stories, they look at something that will never happen or that did not happen. But from what we are seeing now, it shows that those tales they were giving us then actually happen. Because we are seeing it now happening. Yes, we are seeing that kind of tales happening. Where snake can eat money that is in the safe and swallow the whole money, and the money will be missing, and there's no traces for that. Just like in this kind of case, the jailbreak started, and it became a trending something,
and nothing was done
because,
to stop it.
Because if you are at the helm of affairs, you will know that if one jail is attacked, then you need to fortify other jails, because there might be attacks in other jails. But the first one happened, the second one happened, the third one happened, the fourth one happened, and this is the 5th one within a space of 2 years. Are we not seeing a kind of complexity? Are we not seeing a kind of how do I put it? Some people are not doing their job, and some people need to be hammered either by resigning themselves or by the authorities removing them from the position. Because if you are in a place and you are not able to carry out your responsibilities, either as a minister, either as a prison officer, either as in any capacity, a security man, in any capacity, and you are not carrying out your duties as is expected, we expect the hammer to come upon that person, either by he resigns voluntarily or that the authorities remove them. Because from what we are seeing now, it means that more are yet to come. Because these ones will do it and go free. We've never had any case that one of them has been arrested.
So listen to these statistics now. It happened in Benin, October 19th, 2020. Benin and Oko in Edo State. 1,933 inmates were set free. Then it happened in Owerri Correctional Center facility. 1,844 inmates were set free. It also happened at Medium Correctional Center in Kaba. And about 114 of those escaped were recaptured. I think not less than 240 inmates were actually set free, and then only 114 were recovered. Then it happened at Abolongo Correctional Center in Oyo Town on the 22nd of October 2021. Again, so many of them were set free. 907 inmates escaped, And they also vowed that they were arrested and brought back to the facility. And then from the head count that we took, about 907 inmates escaped, but only 446 have been recaptured, where 69 never left the facility. So you see, this has been what has been occurring, and nothing was done to actually stop it. And I'm thinking that when things like this is happening, government should do everything to ensure that they beef up security around the correctional center. But they won't do anything until it has happened. Then they will tell you we're on top of the situation.
Yeah, they always
begin to tell you all kind of things.
Yeah, beyond that, I feel our institutions are very weak. We need to have strong institutions that are able to allow people to do their work effectively. For example, when you take count of inmates in the prisons, in our prisons, you discover that there are people who are not supposed to be there. There are people who, because of we don't have a rapid justice system, that you find people who are spending more time
on awaiting trial.
In fact, the time they are waiting for their trial, we even serve whatever jail term that was due, them. You see, you can't be talking about number of people who, escape from prisons at this stage. I think we should do better than that. Now, do we profile the identities of all people who are in our prison, who are in our correctional centers? Because with NIM and other agencies, our data should be very solid. We should know in so-so correctional center we're having so-so number of people, and we should go digital with that. We should be able to have a database for people within our correctional center. If there's any jailbreak, you'll be able to look at how many people are still in, the prison. We do some sort of roll call and all of that. We'll be able to, categorically say, so name from so with so offense is not in the prison.
Well, it's quite talking about statistics in this country. We are not there. Still very, very far. There are all manner of statistics. It has not been harmonized. No database, nothing. We're just there. Well, God will help us. We are trusting that when the youth comes in, they will do the needful. All right, the next trending news, and before I will reel that out, let me quickly encourage our viewers to please call in. We're waiting for your call and comment regarding the trending news. Now, the next is on Electoral Act amendment. Most progressive bill from NAS. That is from Nigerian Labour Congress. The president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Ayuba Waba, on Monday described the passage of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, which will empower the Independent National Electoral Commission to transmit results electronically, as the most progressive enactment by the National Assembly in a long while. Do you agree with him?
Definitely. Because I think this is the first bill they have enacted. To me, I don't know for others, because every other bill they have been enacting is not really directly proportional to the masses. They enact bills that does not even affect the living condition of the masses. They only enact bills that favors them. But this is the first time the National Assembly is doing their job diligently. And this is the first time they listened to the cries and the yearnings of the public. You will agree with me that if the versions of the Electoral Act differs from the Senate to that of the House of Reps. There are, at the Senate, they did not approve electoral votes, the electronic transmission of the results. They said the NEC will depend on NCC, and the House of Reps agreed on that. And the bill must be harmonized before it becomes one that will be sent to the president to assent to. So Nigerians started crying, Nigerians started making noise, Nigerians started to make their voice count. So National Assembly at the end of the day agreed to the yearnings of the people, and they have passed the best bill so far since we had from 1999 till date. I think this is the best bill we have seen, because this bill tried to bring the power down to the masses. This bill tried to give the masses the chance to make a change in our electoral landscape. Because if a candidate knows that before he's elected as a flag bearer of a party, it involves the interests of every member of the party, both a farmer, both a student, both market women, but every person in that party without exception. If they know that, they will know that it's now time for business. It's no longer business as usual. Because if you are not a good candidate, you will not emerge in the first place. This is not the time they will assemble 300 people or 200 delegates and the highest bidder takes the highest person and he wins. This is the time you need to actually tell the people what you are, and the people will have the chance to x-ray you and know what you are. That is what is called direct primaries that involves the whole people. Now, at the end of the day, when you go for the election proper, INEC will kill most of the bottlenecks that occurs from the polling center to the collation center, ward collation center, where there is always a problem. The figure might be 2 at the polling center, but before it gets to the collation center, it might have changed to 2,000. So, at the polling center, when the result is declared, it is transmitted immediately to the central server. Once it's transmitted to the central server, whatever happens from the polling center to the ward collation center doesn't matter any longer. And the people will not even care to try it because they know that it's null and void, because the main result has gone to the server. So now, it will now be also a part of law that when you feel that INEC did not declare the actual result, you can go to court and say that what we have at the electronic transfer, what we had at the INEC website is this, and this is what INEC declared. So court will see it as part of law, and you will see it will go a long way in making 2023 election more better and important. And I assure you that 80% of our people in the National Assembly will not come back. And I assure you that about 40 to 50% of our governors that are going for second term may not come back.
All right, thank you so much. Now, let me come to you. Some people have the fear that the server will be hacked. And so they are not in support of the electronic transmission of result because of hackers. Are you in support of electronic transmission?
Thank you very much. I am in support of electronic transmission. When this bill when the talk about the bill was ongoing actively, in fact, for me, I say that's victory for Nigerians.
Okay.
Because the first thing for me is not even the election day or election transmission. It's the processes in selecting who run for a political party. You know, over time, you find out that major party stakeholders and party officials dictate what happened.
Exactly.
Because the highest bidder, the most acceptable person, don't get to represent his people, because at the processes where people will be selected to represent political parties, you know, we are still practicing the party, you know, system. The independent candidacy is not as pronounced, you know, in these very climes. For me, there is nothing wrong with fortifying our cyberspace.
Exactly.
When you try to manipulate, you know, you don't allow anybody to steal your belongings. So as you notice that someone is about invading into your privacy, you put preventive measures to, you know, curtail whatever activities. So politicians will try, you know, to see the temper with the figures, but again, we have a very robust system. We have the best brain in Nigeria to, you know, help work out software that will prevent others from hacking into our system. Now, I have a concern about the direct primaries, because political parties till this moment don't have data again.
Okay.
Because you
So
have
there
to,
could be
you
rented
have
crowd.
to, yes, there could be rented crowd. I remember in my state, I observed an election, and it was direct primaries for councillorship candidates. And that very moment, I saw people who I knew were other political parties' card-carrying members, but they were also part of the queue, because there is no concrete data. And for me, as a person, I think anybody who registered 3 months to primaries of any election, who registered or who just registered into any political party 3 months before any primary election should not be allowed to, participate in that year. So I'll be able to have, if I'll be in Kaurana Moda and I want to know what is happening in, say, Port Harcourt, it's just for me to sit in the comfort of my environment to look at how many people who are registered in Ward A in Kaurana, in Port Harcourt, from Kaurana Moda. From there, I'll be able to know that before this direct primaries thing, in Ward A, we are having 30 members. In Ward C, we are having 100 members, so that you won't have 5,000 membership within overnight, because direct primaries are at that stage again. People who have the power to take care of logistics,
yes,
will be able to manipulate and get hold of the system. So much more need to be done to make it perfect.
Thank you so much. Next is on the issue of extrajudicial killing. 13,241 Nigerians killed extrajudicially in 10 years, says CDD. The Center for Democracy and Development has warned that democracy has been eroding in Nigeria for the past 22 years, with civic space disappearing at an alarming rate. It further stated that since 2011, security agents had killed a total of 13,241 Nigerians, emphasizing that extrajudicial murders by state actors have become the country's leading cause of death. Yes, sir. Your thought on this?
Okay, Nigerian Constitution have given us the power to assemble peacefully. So since there are rights for every citizen to, protest on certain developments that we feel is threatening to our fundamental rights, in some developed climes that you see security personnel guiding protesters who are protesting, it's a cause. So as far as whatever protest is done within the ambit of the law, no destruction of properties, it's not threatening to security, innocent people carrying placards, no firearms or anything, that is incriminating. It is the responsibility of the law enforcement agency to even guard them, to watch them closely as they are carrying out their fundamental. To protest is your fundamental human right, as far as you are not doing to the detriment of any person. Now, I am not in support of criminals, and I won't support anybody who is taking to crime as a source of livelihood. But again, if you work legitimately and you are entitled to use whatever that you get from the proceeds of your diligent and hard working earnings to be able to live a comfortable life. At this stage, it's not a crime for someone who has worked to drive a very beautiful car. It's not a crime for someone who work hard to also stay in a very good apartment, as far as you are not engaged in any criminal activities. Now, we have found, just like the complaint most youths complain, more especially from the the southern part of Nigeria is more predominant, that Nigerians are complaining that they can't, flaunt their wealth, and they'll be harassed by law enforcement agency and all of that. And some at that point, get molested and even killed. It's a bad or sad development. At this point, I would advocate that a proper scrutiny of whoever that is being suspected to be engaged in an illegal activity should be done in a way that will not infringe on someone's right.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me quickly take the next headline so that Mr. OBINNA can just make his comments. The federal government begins office-to-office vaccinations for public employees. Yes, sir.
That's good. It's a good development, but I have my reservations.
Okay.
Let's take the statistics of how many people that COVID-19 have killed in Nigeria. Compare it to the statistics of our people that died of malaria as a result of malaria, and the death rate of our young ones below from 0 to below the age of 5.
Yeah.
When you compare this, you will see that the number COVID-19 have killed is just minimal compared to the alarming a number of mosquito
Infant
bites,
mortality.
infant mortalities and malaria is very, very high. And I wonder why our government did not put energy in this kind of sickness that has been claiming loss of lives in the country. If you see how much that has been put into COVID-19, if the government can put 1/3 of that in malaria alone, they will go a long way in eradicating mosquito. Because when you travel abroad, you will not see mosquito. I traveled to France some time ago, and I found out that I was waiting for mosquito to bite me. I didn't see any mosquito even on the street, even in the rooms. There's nothing like disinfectant or whatever that will kill mosquitoes. You are free, no mosquito. And what happened? They were able to eradicate mosquito from the environment. If our government will focus this amount in eradicating mosquito, I tell you, there will be no mosquito in Nigeria to bite us, and there will be no malaria. Also, our infant mortalities, if our government will focus and channel this kind of energy and money into our health system, I will tell you, the mortality rate will be reduced drastically. These are areas Nigerians are dying. No, I have not seen the significant number of people that COVID-19 have claimed. And mind you, the people that have been reported killed by COVID-19 must have had one illness, a sickness or the other. And you look at them, most of them are elderly ones. So one will not be sure whether these people are actually killed by COVID-19 or their ailment. So, and you consider the rate of spread in Nigeria or in Africa or in this hot zone, you see that it's very minimal. How many of us wear face masks? And still there's no much infection, no much spread. So I think our government should focus more on where it affects us much. There's nothing wrong in our country discovering or developing malaria vaccines. There's nothing wrong in we doing it. When Ebola came, US didn't want to help Nigeria. They didn't want to help Africa, mostly Nigeria, when we got it. But what did we do? Our people went back and sat together, and they were able to develop a formula that was able to cure Ebola. And America started looking for us to know how we did it, because they thought all of us would die. So the problem we have is that we don't value what we have until we get it from the Western world. That's when we value it. Even the issue of COVID-19, we can get the solution locally. We have our people that will be able to give permanent solution to COVID-19 issue without costing this enormous amount. And let me inform you that the amount spent on procuring COVID-19 vaccine and the number of people that will take that vaccine, you will see that at the end of the day, not up to quarter of the vaccines will be used on Nigerians. Because Nigerians, most of them are not ready to go and vaccinate, because they say that the greatest terrorist we have is malaria, and not even herdsmen or bandits or IPOB or whatever they call them. They say the greatest terrorist we have is malaria. And so most of them are more concerned about that than COVID-19. So, and also, we have to understand that we need to respect the rights of our citizens. we need to respect that we have to give our citizens chance to take a decision, either to take the vaccine or not. I have a case that somebody that took the COVID-19 in Nigeria died instantly, within minutes, after taking it. So they are, even in US, where the government tried to make it compulsory, that everybody will take it, people went to court and court pronounced no. It should be optional. If you want to take it, you take it. Also, there's also another means. If you want to travel, you must do COVID-19 test 24 hours before the trip. And if you are negative, you will not travel. I think they will also look into that area, because it will be against the wish of most workers to go and take COVID-19 vaccine. They will look into that, and also look for a leverage that if you don't want to take the vaccine, you can be doing your test maybe every 7 days. You do your test and bring. Every 7 days, you do your test and bring, so that there will be no uprising on that. Okay. And federal government is spending a hell of money on that.
All right, thank you so much. Let's quickly move to the next trending news that has to do with Kaduna State. The Kaduna State government to commence 4-day work week for public servants from December. It announced the commencement of a transition to a 4-day working week for public servants in the state. The development, according to it, will permit public servants to work from home for 1 day per week. This was contained in a statement from Sir Kashim Ibrahim House, which was signed by the Special Advisor to the Governor, Media and Communication, Muyiwa Adekeye. Yes, sir. Your thought on this? Quickly enough. You're from Kaduna.
Yes.
That would be a good news for you, right?
Yes, it will be a very, very good news. And I have my stand. By training, I am a tourism practitioner.
Okay.
And I understand what it means to, have some time out, to be able to recreate and all of that. Now, where I have concern, I know from some of the responses we got from the state government, they are just trying to, create a welfare package, motivation to motivate people because they are putting quite a lot of energy from the beginning of the year down till this very moment. I will be more happier if there are activities going on, to boost the state revenue. For example, in Cross River State, we do have a Calabar Festival. And from 1st December, every public servant, except those who are within the directorate cadre, that will go, they do have skeletal services. Now, we allow people to go on holidays. Nigerians, we don't want to go for holidays, so we need that rest. So basically, for me as a person, I feel if the state government is doing that just to allow its citizens to be more productive in the coming year, its festive period to, look at activities are winding up, except for the concern that our budget doesn't run from January to December. So you still have some, carryover of activities. But for states who run January to December budget, so it's believed that the activity of the government is coming to an end. But for me, it's a welcome development. More activity should be done to, allow them to use that Friday, the weekend. Yeah. Friday, Saturday, Sunday to recreate, to, mend fences, appreciate culture, diversity, and all of that.
All right. Thank you so much. Now, let me take the last on the trending news we have here now. We're talking about shut down your churches or we will attack. And this is coming from bandits or terrorists sent later to Zamfara Christians. Shut down your churches or we will attack. That is clear now about our suspicion that there is a religious undertone in some of the things that is happening in the north. Now, this is very clear. Let me quickly read what they're saying here. Unknown individuals suspected to be bandits, terrorists, have written a letter to the Christian community in Zamfara State, northwest Nigeria, asking them to shut down their churches or risk attack. Yes, sir. Mr. OBINNA, are you surprised?
That is, you know, let me start with Kaduna issue.
Okay.
And that what state government is doing or wants to do is not to improve revenue or improve civil service. That is as a result of insecurity. There's no other reason for that. It's as a result of insecurity in the state. That's why they are proposing that people will work one day from home. So is it going to pay the state positively? I think the issue should be tackled headlong. The insecurity issue needs to be tackled. If it's tackled and the place is secured, everybody will be happy to live in. Even the 4 days they're talking about, people will go to work. Are they safe going to work for the remaining 4 days? So the issue is that window dressing will not solve the problem. All of us need to come together and solve the problem. Like now, there is a letter from bandits or terrorists telling Christians to close their churches in Zamfara. Now they have written. Now we have known. Will the security agents work? Will the security agents be proactive in securing the churches and their gatherings so that these people will not have chance to attack? You will see, all of us will be here and you will hear that they attack church and there will be nobody there. So what we need to do is that we have to start being proactive than being reactionary. Yeah. Because what we experience within our security agencies is that they react instead of being proactive.
Viewers, that's the much we can take on the headlines today. We shall be going on a short break, and when we return, we shall be looking at the topic for discussion, the youth readiness for 2023 elections. Please stay tuned. Viewers, you're welcome back, and if you're just joining us, this is still your favorite program now streaming, reaching you from the ACNNTV. Remember, you can be part of the program by calling in to give your contribution and send your comment through our various social media handles showing on your screen. You're welcome back to the discussion segment, and we shall be looking at the topic, the youth readiness for 2023 elections. Stay with us in the studio to discuss this topic are two vibrant young politicians who are fully prepared for a better Nigeria. They are Mr. OBINNA ODUCHE and Mr. HABILA KAYIT. You're welcome once again.
Thank you very much.
Now, let me start with the National Coordinator, United Christian Youth in Politics and Governance. Please tell us about UCYPG.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
The United Christian Youth in Politics and Governance is an association of progressive youth. It's a non-denominational association and a non-partisan association. Our vision is to raise godly people into leadership position in Nigeria. And our mission is to identify people with remarkable and unshakable integrity, to support people who have proven with their past antecedents to be people who are passionate about a position in Nigeria. The group is not keen about the immediate election, but we're looking at Nigeria in the long run. Want to see how Nigeria will be repositioned for the good of country and to the glory of God.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, is your body planning to form a political party that will help the youth in getting platform? because you know in politics there is something about platform. Without platform, you are not likely to be able to go anywhere. So are you getting a platform to stand in for the coming election?
At this point, we don't need more platforms. We already have enough platforms. See, we have to make this thing very competitive.
Okay.
If you are expecting the people who have already been in the system to, you know, call you first in the morning and say, we have seen what you are doing, you have been up and doing, so you are taking up leadership from us from this point, you won't see that. That won't happen. For us, we have to be deliberate in what we are doing. Now, we find out that there are people who have decided to join politics, but people who are surrounded by them are only their friends who have seen value in them. Now, for the church, we want to see a deliberate move from the church where the church will talk more on politics. We want to see a platform where the church will encourage Christians, you know, to join politics. This is being moved by the scripture from the book of Proverbs 29:2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked are in authority, the people groan. People are groaning today because righteous people are scared to join the system. Righteous people are not joining the system today because they feel the system is corrupt, is perverse, and is irredeemable. Because they have refused to, you know, join the system, a lot of people are suffering. And in fact, there are people who can boldly tell you that as far as we are concerned, as far as I'm concerned, I've never voted ever. I won't even vote because your votes don't count. Now, from the moment we allow the entire system to be run by people who doesn't have the pedigree, you know, to position Nigeria because of the motive why they join the political system, they will continue to suffer. And people are suffering because some of us who can, you know, come in, light the light of Christ into the system to make the system very competitive and, you know, clear for people to, you know, join, are scared, are running away. So we are not planning to have any political party from our own point, but we are planning to be actively involved in what happened. Beyond politics, the governance. What happened to DGs, ES, managing directors who have been in government offices? They have mandate. What are they doing with their mandate? So we are not basically concerned about just the election. If you are being made the DG of a particular agency, what are the rules of your, you know, your office? So are you carrying your rules diligently, or are they using you as a tool to siphon money? How effective are you in, you know, delivering dividends of democracy as far as your responsibility is concerned? Now, we are not just out to criticize people who are in government or who are in politics. We also want to add our voices in fostering solutions to some of the challenges. You know, look forward to designing programs, you know, and encouraging people to also key into government programs that are very, very good, you know, to, you know, help take people out from the poverty state that we are, and to also make people, you know, enjoying some of the programs that government have set in.
All right, thank you so much. Now, let me come to Mr. OBINNA. Talking about youth readiness for 2023. Are the youth ready? And also looking at the explanation that he has given us, do you see this association beating incorruptible politicians that will occupy seat come 2023?
To me, you know, the problem we have is that we have a short-time project. When we start a project now, we want the dividend tomorrow. I don't see them making any impact in 2023, but it's good they start.
Yeah.
As they have started, they will grow. It will gather momentum as time goes on.
Yeah.
Because our youth has been bastardized. The minds of our youth has been bastardized by the people in power that want to perpetuate themselves in power forever. That will always tell you that the future of our country is the youths, and the youths will grow old and they will not see that future from them. So that is just that. I'm happy they started. You know, in Christendom, we have one problem. We see people in leadership as sinners. We see them as people that you don't need to associate with.
That's true.
But they are the ones that make laws and policies that govern me and you, who are Christians, who are born again. So we've gotten it wrong right from the onset. So I think that if we start now, maybe give ourselves 20 years project, we'll be there. We'll be able to sensitize our youth, sensitize the Christians to be in politics, join political party, play politics. If politics is dirty, you must not be dirty when you are playing it as a Christ-like person. You must not be dirty when you are playing it. You play it as a Christian. And before you know it, let me use myself as an example. I'm a politician, but everybody sees me as a pastor in the party. There are certain things...
Because your stand is clear.
Yes, there are certain things they cannot bring to my knowledge because, he's a pastor. If you bring it to his knowledge, he's spoiled. Have you seen it? So they have known my boundaries. So I am not a politician that is desperate to do everything to get power. No. I believe that I'll play it neat. And by the grace of God, one day, God will project me. I think that is what we need to know. Also, our pastors in Christendom should devote time in preaching about civics in the churches. There's nothing wrong in doing that. Civics, tell our members to go and register and be carrying members of parties. Tell our members to go and vote, register to have a voter's card so that we will be able to vote. Then always inculcate in our members the importance of voting on the day of election. It is the duty of our church leaders, our pastors, and other people at the helm of affairs in our churches to bring it up all the time. And at our level now as an Anglican church, I think we need to put it as part of our church curriculum, as part of our services. There are services that will be devoted to preachings on civics, so that we will sensitize, because we are backward, we sensitize our people more, so that people will develop interest in politics. People will see politics as something good, not something that is dirty. Because everybody sees, most people that don't vote during election are Christians. 90% of Christians doesn't vote on election day.
Because you see
but you see our counterparts in the other side.
China.
They will dry up. They will dry up in town. If you are living in a place where you get Merwa to give you water, you find out that for 1 month you will not see them. They will all dry up. The Okadas will not be there again. They go to their respective villages to vote. They see the importance of voting. They believe in voting so that they will determine who becomes the leader of the country. There's nothing bad in we as Christians coming together to determine who governs the country. We can do that because every part of this country you find Christians. Every state that they say predominantly Muslim state, you still see Christians. There are states that you see that are predominantly Christians. You understand? So if we Christians sit down and start a project, 20 years project, to take over leadership in this country, we will do that. And also, we Christians, the churches should learn to sponsor people in politics.
Exactly.
Because without the churches playing role in sponsoring people in politics, we cannot get there because the resources are not there. The people in power have resources already.
I think that is this issue of being partisan. Churches are trying to stay away because they don't want to be seen as being partisan.
No. The issue of partisanship is not here. It can't come up now. What churches need to do is to bring the person they believe that is the best and vote the person into power. He may not be president. We will start from House of Assembly, senators, House of Reps, councillors, chairmen. We start gradually to grow. That does not mean that you are trying to be partisan. No. Underground, churches supposed to be sponsoring people in politics. Let me give you an example with Anambra State. Since the inception of Anambra State, all the civilian governors has been Catholics. Catholic Church have been playing vital role of who becomes the governor of Anambra State. Of which this last election, Anglicans and other churches decided to speak out that we don't want a Catholic to govern us any longer. But they're not ready to play the politics. And what happened? At the end of the day, Catholics took it again. Because of what? They start early. They sponsor their people in different parties so that all of them will come out as candidates. Now, who becomes the governor doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it will still be a Catholic. And at the end of the day, you see the Catholics playing major role in the governance of the state.
Of course.
After the election. So these are the things we need to learn. It's not just doing it or saying it, we need to learn it. The way Catholics did it in states, I pray that they will all galvanize and do it at the national level, and also bring other Christian societies together so that we'll be able to achieve it. We can achieve it. If you go to other religious or denomination, you will hear how they preach, on how they tell them of leadership, how they talk to them of voting, how to talk to them of how to vote and whom to vote. Do you know that most of these our counterparts are not educated, but they know how to vote?
Exactly.
They never void their votes. They vote very well because of what? Enlightenment. And it's not National Orientation Agency that was doing it or is doing it.
It's done in the
and it's not party or INEC that is doing it. It is the religion, the sect. They found that this is, without power, you are no way. There might be a policy that will come up that every church built in this particular area will be demolished. Yeah. We cannot fight it.
And nothing will
happen.
Nothing will happen.
So right, we churches should learn that if we don't have mouth in power, we will regret it as time goes on.
All right, thank you so much. Let me come to you before you make your submission. Yeah. Let me quickly add this: that looking at youth that are already holding elective offices, and with their achievements so far, do you think youth are ready to take over leadership positions in Nigeria? And would they be able to restore the lost glory of the country?
I believe 100% that the youth have the capacity to restore Nigerian glory. Before delving into that, thank you, Mr. OBINNA. In fact, you have just made my work very easy here. For what the United Christian Youth in Politics and Governance stand for, that's exactly what you just enumerated. Advocacy is very key. Sponsorship, because there is nobody who wants to delve into the political scene. We know how expensive it is to run for offices here. So without support from the church, sponsorship from the church, we are going nowhere. And you see, mentorship. We need a mentorship plan that to be able to, groom young persons who have picked in interest to, run. And aside that, majorly prayers. So we need to, pray for politicians too. Instead of castigating politicians who are from the household of faith, instead of trying to, make them feel as if what they're doing is not, okay. For those who have set in a difference, we need to encourage them, and also pray for them. For me, I feel we have more than enough hands to, govern Nigeria. Nigerian youths are quite qualitative, to occupy down to the presidential ticket, office. Because we have had young persons in their various choosing professions. They are doing excellently well. We have lawyers who are excellent lawyers. We have doctors who are doing very well. We have every profession that you can think of. Now, the political system in Nigeria is so expensive that for some youths who have the capacity, to want to, delve into contesting, for example, the gubernatorial ticket, then the forms were sold for 2.5 million naira, but it was jacked up to 22.5 million naira,
in the previous
election. So for a young person, maybe I can afford 2.5 million naira to get the form, but can I afford 22.5 million naira to get the form? Just to get the form. Talk more of logistics and all of that. But as far as readiness is concerned, Nigerian youths are more than ready, to take over.
So the major problem is the resources?
The system has to find a way to, you know, create an enabling playing ground for everybody to be able to fit in.
So it was not too young to run, an illusion by the government and political parties.
You know, it was for the not too young to run campaign, you know, that make them to, you know, raise the bar, you know, like that. And I must commend the campaigners of the not too young to run. They have done an excellent job. You know, big dreams starts very small, and, you know, grow with time. So they have done very well. Now, I want to also say that for a young person, you know, to rule this country, young persons across board have to be intentional and deliberate about what they're doing. Now, it's not about the quick money, just like Mr. Oduche said. It's not about now. So we have to like a projection. So when do we plan to take over? And as we plan to take over, what are we doing now differently? We have to be doing some few things differently now in preparation of taking over. Now, I look forward to, you know, see young people being intentional about this continuous voters registration, that I am determined, you know, to vote in the next election. And for me to vote in the next election, the best thing for me to do is to get my voter's card. I am an influencer within my small corner. So I will be deliberate in influencing people to understand the need to go get their voter's card and be part of this very move. I don't have much of the resources, but I am determined of committing a little of my resources into this because I believe in the capacity and capability of young Nigerians who, you know, rise to the occasion to make a difference. I am determined to reposition Nigeria because the power to reposition Nigeria is in our hands.
Thank you so much. As if you should keep on speaking on this subject. Now, let me come to you, Mr. OBINNA. I will take this as your last word. What is your advice to the youth in preparation for the election of leaders come 2023? For me, I've always believed that corpers, undergraduates who are up to 18 in all our various universities and high institutions, if they all come together and determine and say, this is the person, they have the number.
Yeah. It's a simple thing. My first advice to them is to go and register. Go and register and have their voter's card. That's my first advice. Found out that most people that are making noise, they are not eligible to vote because they don't have the weapon to vote. So, you know, in Nigeria, it's always cumbersome, sometimes difficult, painful to register because of the bottlenecks. But let them be patient and register. When they register, that is the first step. Then the second step is to look at the people contesting election in their various areas and be able to point out a particular person that they will vote for. Either the person might be a youth, the person might not be a youth, but they will be
at least determine
who becomes that in their area. And the highest number, when you look at the gender, the age limits in the country, the highest number in this country is that age limit of youths. That's why you have the highest number in the voters register. Yeah. So now you see that our youths can go a long way in determining who governs them in every level of government. They can start from local government. Youths can start from taking over the councillorship positions and taking over the chairmanship positions. They can start from the House of Assembly. They can grow from that. If they do that and start from the grassroots to take it, by next election after 2023, you will see a paradigm shift. Because as a local government chairman who is a youth, having performed very well, it will be time for you to go into House of Assembly. Yeah. And as a good person that have performed as a House of Assembly member, as a youth, it will be time for you to be the governor. So I believe that if they get it right now by at least getting their voter's card, then another thing is coming out on the day of election. We find it very difficult to queue. We find it very difficult to wait. We have lots and lots of excuses to give that the sun is there. You pay a price for you to get something right. let them come out on the day of election and wait. Even if the beavers or whatever they want to use that day did not capture you or did not accept you in the first trial, wait and try up to 100 times until you are able to vote.
Exactly.
By so doing, they will create a very, very positive impact that will go a long way in shaping and reshaping of this country.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Your advice. Can you do that in 30 seconds?
Yes. The greatest enemy of the youth is the youth. Politicians often use the youth to be against or to fight against the youth. So Nigerian youth should not allow themselves to be used by politicians against fellow youths. Again, money should not be our focal point. Our focal point should be repositioning Nigeria. Not participating in partisan politics, because that is where the real deal starts. It's not a good thing. So for whatever change we need as youth in Nigeria, the first thing is for us to occupy party positions.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for being on the program today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. ABILA, KAYIT, and our regular face, Mr. OBINNA, ODUCHE. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, sir.
And this is where we call it a day for today's program. Till we come your way again, same time, same station tomorrow. Be a law-abiding citizen. Be vigilant. If you see something, say something. And always report criminal acts to the appropriate authority and do good at all times. Do well also to register for your voter's card. And if you haven't, and if you have registered, do well to get yours. Be a card carrier of a political party and be ready to be actively involved in politics. Governance is for everybody and not some selected few. Remember, God is the ultimate protector and deliverer. Therefore, put your trust in him. I am Smart Simon, and bye. Have a pleasant week.